Hi, I'm Stacy Mormon. I'm the instructional coach here at North Cedar Junior High School, and I just want to take a little bit of time today to talk about PowerSchool and how you can use PowerSchool to check in on your students and how they're doing academically here. So there's a couple ways to get into PowerSchool. One way is to go through our school website to get to our PowerSchool link there. That would be a good option if you're on a desktop or a laptop computer, something like that. There is also a PowerSchool app that you can put on your phone. If you do that, it's going to ask for a district code. Our district code is XKPN. If you're having any trouble with logging in, Peter Green is the one you're going to want to get in contact with. He is our tech person here at the school, and his contact information is there on the screen. All right, so let's take a look at Trudy Test, our fake example students' PowerSchool grades. So I'm going to go to our home page. When I go there, there's a link to PowerSchool up there at the top. When I click on that, this one actually automatically logged me in, but it'll take me to this login screen. You can put in your username and password there, and that's the same username and password that you used when you registered your students, so same one. When you go ahead and click the sign in button, it's going to bring up information about your student. This first page is going to have a list of all the courses that your student is currently enrolled in. For our example student, we only have them in one class. They're in 4th period, yearbook design and copywriting. Underneath you'll see the name and contact information for the teacher. Over on the left, you're going to see some attendance information. It'll tell you if they were marked present, absent, or tardy on any of those days in the last couple weeks. Then over here, you're going to see their current grade for that course. So this first page is going to give you a very general overview of how they're doing in each one of their courses and what their schedule looks like. If I want to get more specific information for an actual or an individual class, I should say, I'm going to click on either the grade, the current grade, or if there's no current grade, if there's no assignments in for that course yet, I can also click on the I here, and that'll get me to the same place. So if I click on the grade, it's going to come up with a list of assignments for that course. So these are all the things that have been completed for that course at this time. On the far left, you're going to see due dates. The next column is for the category, so that will probably tell you whether it was a practice assignment or whether it was an actual assessment. Then you're going to see the name of the assignment or assessment. And then you get into some information about how your student is doing on those things. So if you see a lot of green check marks, that is great. That means the student has turned in that assignment and the teacher has marked that in the grade book. If you see any of these orange exclamation points, that means that the assignment is currently missing and the student hasn't turned it in yet, or the teacher hasn't updated it if they have. You might also see a red L. That means that the assignment was turned in late. So those are ways that we can track students' completion of assignments without assigning them grades for them, because in standards-based grading we don't give scores for practice assignments. If it is an assessment, you're going to see one of these blue graph buttons next to it. When you click on the blue graph button, it's going to drop down the standard or the skill that was being assessed on that assessment, and then it's going to tell you what score they received for each of those standards on that assessment. So for this one, the September Photos and Events assessment, the standard or skill they were being assessed on is being able to deliver quality job performance on time, and this particular student earned a 3 or a proficient on that assessment, on that standard, on that assessment. If I close that one and look at the next assessment on the list, now we have a different skill, a different standard that was being assessed, and the student received a score of a 2, which would be a developing in our grade system. Sometimes when you click on that button, you'll see the standards listed there, but it might just have a dash. That just means that the teacher has not entered in grades for that assessment yet. They made the assignment or the assessment in PowerSchool, but they haven't entered in the scores yet. Sometimes you'll also notice that on one assessment or one project, you might see more than one standard or more than one skill being assessed. So sometimes you will see 2 or more standards there, and then the individual scores with them. So that kind of gives you specific information about every assignment and assessment that has been done for the course so far. If you want to see how that is calculating to a final grade, you're going to go to the Standards Grades tab up here at the top. When I click on that, it's going to come up with another list of all the courses they are currently enrolled in. I'm going to find the one that I want more information about. I'm going to click on that one. When I do that, it's going to show me every standard that has been assessed in the course so far and their current overall grade for each one of those standards. So a lot of times students will be assessed more than one time on a single standard because we want to see that they're consistent over time and that they're able to consistently score proficient before we move on to harder content. So that's going to be calculated on the assignments or the assessments part of things down to one score for that overall standard. Now how that happens in the gradebook is a little bit up to the teacher. They can decide if that is done through the mode or the average or highest score or most recent score. The teacher determines that, and they should let you know that at the beginning of the course through their syllabus. If you have questions about that, I would just get in contact with the teacher and ask them how they are having standards calculate to one final grade for the standard. After that, once we have grades for each of the standards, then your final course grade comes from those being, the percentages of those scores being averaged into one final course grade. So that's kind of what PowerSchool looks like on the desktop laptop side of things. I do also want to show you kind of what it looks like on the mobile app version. So if you're on the app version, this is 3 different screens that you might see there. The first screen that's going to come up when you log in is the dashboard. So that's going to show you all of their courses as little boxes, and if there is a current grade for that course, that's going to come up with the percentage right away on that first dashboard page. Once you click on one of the courses, then you're going to get that assignment list again. This example one is not from a standard-based grading school, so you won't see scores this big, like out of 100 on ours, but you'll get the same kind of a list. You'll be able to see all of their assignments and whether they turned them in or not. The tricky part about the app is it will not let us click on an assessment and have those standards drop down and see the scores for each standard. So just keep that in mind. It will let you see their grades for their standards on the Standards tab, but it won't let you see the individual assessment ones. So to do that, you're going to need to go to the browser version. So that's kind of what you can see there. Kind of works the same, gives you that same overall view, but if you want some of the more detailed information, sometimes the laptop or browser version does work a little bit better for that. So that's kind of a quick overview of PowerSchool and some of the things that you can use it for when you're trying to check and see how your student is doing academically here at the high school. One thing to keep in mind, what we talked about in this video is how it's going to work for most of our courses here. The exception would be math and science. Those ones do get entered into the PowerSchool gradebook just a little bit differently, just because of how their content works. They use learning targets rather than standards, so it works just a little bit differently, but overall the concept is fairly similar. So if you have any other questions, feel free to get in contact with me if it's kind of a general question about PowerSchool. If it's something more specific to the course, I would definitely suggest contacting the individual teachers about things like that. Thank you for your time. I hope this has been helpful.